You know, this year, 2024, has been an amazing year for boxing. It's been brilliant. We've seen some tremendous shows. We've seen some tremendous fights. We've seen them in the UK. We've seen them abroad. On August the 3rd, we have one of the best cards on paper that I've seen in a long, long time. And it's a card that I just feel needs to be talked about because it is incredible. And obviously I'm referring to Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov. Have a look there on screen, live on DAZN, the global home of boxing with over 150 fights per year. You can order that off DAZN. I will be leaving a link in the comment section below where you can use the G-Man link to the DAZN website to get that on there. I think this card is absolutely phenomenal. It's a strange one even when you look at it and you go on BoxRec and you see the amount of promoters who are associated with it. Bob Arum, Tom Brown, Oscar De La Hoya, Eddie Hearn, Dimitri Salita, and that's just to name a few. And when you look at this card, you know, I thought that the 5v5 Matchroom versus Queensberry show was very, very good. And I thought that was very, very good, even when you take Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol out, because obviously the fight didn't happen. It's going to happen in October, but that was meant to headline it. You take that out, and the card is still phenomenal. This card right here, I just cannot speak highly enough about this card. It is absolutely phenomenal. You know, when I look at the fights, Andy Ruiz versus Jerell Miller, that fight right there is mega. I love the heavyweight division, as you know. There's two very big heavyweight fights on this card that I am very keen on seeing. And I think Miller versus Ruiz is such an intriguing fight because Miller, how is he going to bounce back after that Dubois defeat? You know, it's the first time losing as a professional, first time being stopped, and first time that he was noticeably hurt in a professional boxing ring as well, against Andy Ruiz, who we've a lot of questions about Andy Ruiz, where he is at, where his headspace is going to be at, where his form is going to be at, how he's going to look in terms of, you know, the fighting shape he's going to be in. You got to remember, Andy Ruiz, he's not getting any younger. You know, he's got to be in his early to mid-30s now. And August the 3rd, he's only, well, it's 23 months. It's only a month away from being 2 years out of the ring. So it's a long stretch of inactivity that Andy Ruiz has had. How is he going to look against Jerell Miller? If this was Ruiz, who was the 2019 version, who went in there with Anthony Joshua in Madison Square Garden, I think Ruiz would light Jerell Miller up. I really do. I think he'd light him up. The foot speed is going to be an issue for Andy Ruiz, but I think he'd still light him up. But now, I really don't know. You've Dave Morrell on there, who is just a vicious, hard-punching light heavyweight. He's now competing at light heavyweight from super middleweight, and I think he is, as I said, he's one to watch. He's a vicious puncher. He really is. A lot of power there. Pitbull Cruz, Isaac Cruz, I needed no real introduction because a Pitbull, if there's ever a name that fits a fighter, that's Isaac Cruz, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, because from the opening bell, he is just on you like white to rice. He's all over you like a bad smell. He is coming, throwing everything but the kitchen sink. And I think he is a tremendously talented fighter. He is a top 135 pounder, 140 pounder, I should say. And even at 135 pound, he was still brilliant. And I think he is absolutely tremendous. And I think that this is going to be a real showcase for Isaac Cruz in there. Andy Cruz as well, no relation by the way. Andy Cruz, he'll be in there as well. 10 rounder for an IBF international title. You know, he was a standout amateur, Olympic gold medalist. Eddie Hearn assigned him. This is only his 4th professional fight, and he's already in an IBF international fight. I think that he is going to be making serious inroads at 135 pounds. Been very, very impressed with what I've seen from Andy Cruz. Another excellent fight. I've been saving these last two, the main event obviously and the co-main, for the end. Jared Anderson, the real big baby, versus Martin Bakole. You know, when this fight card was announced, this particular fight wasn't actually on it. It was going to be Tim Tszyu versus Virgil Ortiz, which for me, that was the fight of the card. You know, when I looked at the card on paper, I said, well, that is the fight. That's the fight that we should be looking at saying, we want to watch that, we want to see it. At the end of the day, Tim Tszyu suffered cuts in his loss to Fondora. Those cuts haven't healed. Fair enough. He can't spar. Nothing you can do about that. So they've taken that fight off. I hope that they can reschedule it for another card. I'm sure they will, because it's just it's a mouth-watering fight. It really is. It's a tremendous fight. And I remember thinking, okay, the fight that I was really looking forward to, not that I'm not looking forward to the fights on this card, I am, but the fight that I was most looking forward to is now gone. What's going to come in its place? And they come with this? Like, this is a brilliant fight. It's a really, really, really risky fight for young Jerell Anderson. It really is. I can't emphasize enough how much of a risk this is for Jerell Anderson. You know, he was doing well. He was beating the likes of Jerry Forrest, George Arias. He went in there with Charles Martin, and Martin made him think about things. And it even made Bob Arum kind of take his foot off the gas ever so slightly, put him in there against Rudenko. Rudenko's normally durable. Anderson was able to get rid of him. Riyad Merry, he went in there with him. Merry very negative. And he was very negative. He was there to survive. He did a very good job at that. And it did make you look and think, okay, there is still some work there for Jerell Anderson. Let's see who they put him in there with next. I didn't envision they would put him in with Bacoli, because Martin Bacoli is an absolute top heavyweight. He's a top tier heavyweight. He's a big, strong, hard-hitting heavyweight. I mean, look at the job he did on Carlos Takam. I've seen Carlos Takam for many, many years. I've never seen anyone put it on him like that. I've never seen it. Takam is a big, strong guy, and like Anthony Joshua will tell you how strong Carlos Takam is. It was insane how physically stronger Bacoli was, how bigger he was. He was nearly 300 pounds in that fight, and how hard he was hitting. And Takam takes a shot. Incredible. I really do worry for Anderson in this fight, that they or whoever have bitten off more than they can chew in this fight with Martin Bacoli. I really do. But saying that, he's such a talented fighter. That's why it's so intriguing. And obviously Israil Madrimov versus Terence Crawford. Some people don't seem keen on Israil Madrimov. I don't understand why. I seen his fight on the undercard of Joshua versus Ngannou, and that was a brilliant performance. I thought he looked fantastic in it. And throughout the course of his career, I've looked at Madrimov and thought, yeah, this guy is he's a good little fighter. I really do like what I see there. So Israil Madrimov, I think him against Crawford, seeing how Terence Crawford looks at 154 pounds, you got to bear in mind, Crawford is, well, he's no spring chicken there. He's 36 years old. He's been out of the ring now for, well, by the time he steps in to fight on Fight Night, it'll have been over a year. So how will that affect Crawford? You know, new weight in there against Madrimov, who is he's no slouch under no stretch of the imagination. It's going to be a very interesting fight. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be brilliant. I think that this card is, on paper, one of, if not the strongest cards I've seen all year. It really is phenomenal. And like I said, I can't wait to see it. I really, truly can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be shown live on DAZN. You'll see there on screen, as I said already, in the pinned comment section, link to DAZN, a G-Man link to DAZN. You can go and watch that. You can also see some of my content, which is already up on DAZN as well there, if you fancy having a look at that as well. But I think this card is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I really do. I look forward to it. I can't wait to see it. And yeah, I can't wait to... We're not far away from it now, lads. We're a couple of weeks away. And I, for one, cannot wait for Fight Week to do these videos, to preview the fights. There's so many to preview. And that is a show that's worth staying up for, 100%. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments section below. Hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace.